So, hello everyone, and welcome to Mastrius. We're happy to have you here for another exciting Meet the Mentor event. I'm Grace Birkenbosch, your host for today's session. I've been taking a class for the last year through Mastrius, and I've learned so much and thoroughly enjoyed being part of the group. Hopefully, we'll have a smooth session today as we get to know Heather. And if you're new to Mastrius, we're an online platform that connects creatives to mentors who can help support you in your artistic journey. Our non-competitive platform fosters collaboration, growth, and community. Mastrius is where creatives thrive. Today's event is an opportunity for Heather Pant to share a bit about her artistic practice. And if you miss part of this session, don't worry. It's being uploaded to Mastrius's YouTube channel, so you can watch it later. Oh, yay! Nancy just joined us. Awesome. That's awesome. So let's get to the highlight of today's event. I'm pleased to introduce Heather. Heather Pant is a very, we're thrilled to have you with us, Heather, today. To share you some of your artistic journey. I'm going to read a little bit about Heather to introduce you to her. Heather is an accomplished acrylic landscape artist based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Her works are collected in both private and corporate collections worldwide. Heather's motto, "I live to paint and I paint what I love," sums up her passion for her craft. Being so close to the majestic mountains of Alberta and BC provides her with a never-ending playground full of adventure and inspiration for her paintings. Heather is a self-taught artist who started out in oils and then turned later to acrylics. She has been painting professionally for the past 20 years, fulfilling her childhood dream of living by her brush. She has style, magnificent use of color in the mountain scenes of the Canadian wilderness. Her use of bold, vivid colors and movement provide the viewer with a truly introspective experience, evoking a distinctive sense of emotion through her creations on canvas. So this Meet the Mentor event is going to be kind of an interview, question and answer format rather than a demonstration. And I wanted to share my screen, so I'm going to try and do this now, just to show you some of Heather's beautiful work. Let's just pull that up a moment, see if that works. Can you see that?
Nope.
Not yet.
Did it come through?
Not yet.
Oh, shoot. Let me try it once more. There. Let's try that.
Oh, you're doing it. Yay.
Oh, yay. Yay. Just the color in your paintings, Heather. They're just beautiful.
Oh, it makes me feel like I'm in the mountains.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're full of joy too.
Oh, wow. It's so cool when I look at them all together. It's like, wow, look at all that work.
Oh, yeah, so much you've accomplished. Look at that bear. Ooh.
Yeah, see, I do bears sometimes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so she's online, of course, and you can see more of her work there. I am going to go back in here. There we go. So Heather,
yeah.
Let's get started. Tell us a bit how you started out. You know, I know that you started as a child, but you know, where did you start professional?
Well, what I did was I started oil painting when I was really young. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but my parents knew, okay, she can paint, but they didn't want me to become an artist. They wanted me to make a lot of money and work for corporate, you know. So, also I'm originally from Chicago, so I sound a little bit mobsterish, but I don't mean to. It's just my accent. Okay, so they didn't want me to be an artist because they felt I was never going to make it in the world as an artist because, you know, honestly, in the US, it's just not really a flourishing type of career. So I went to school for advertising illustration, and this was a long time ago before computers. I ended up owning my own print shop at 21. And after that, I got tired of it and I sold it. And then I started working for a big publishing company designing textbooks for kids K-6. So I went into the graphic end of things so I could use my creativity, but still make, good money doing it. So I did that for a number of years. And while I was doing that, I really wanted to paint. I didn't really want to be a computer graphic designer. I wanted to be a painter. I was born a painter. So then I moved on to that for a while, and then I got out of that, and I said, you know what, I got to live off my brush. This is just, I got to do it. When I hit 30, I was like, I'm either never going to do it, or, I could fail, but at least I tried. So I finally started to live off my brush doing portraits, and I got into some art leagues and did some shows in Chicago, and I was doing quite well. I met my husband when we were kids, and he was from Alberta in Canada. So we ended up getting together. When I saw Banff, I knew I was in the exact place I was supposed to be, because everywhere I looked, there was a painting. So I started off painting slowly here. I couldn't get into any organizations for painters. I was put on wait lists, and I was really sad about that. And then I tried to hook up, but it was really difficult. I had come from the States, and I was new in Canada, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't know any artists or anything. My husband was in oil and gas, and his business was starting to tank, and we needed to make money to support the kids. So I literally went to the streets and started selling my paintings in the street. And that helped me develop such a thick skin for critiquing and criticism, because I was out there. I just put myself out there. I didn't care what happened. And it paid off. About 200 or 300 paintings that I sold later, I was contacted by an art gallery, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Then my career just went boom. And
that's amazing. What a story.
One after another, gallery after gallery was calling me, and it was just amazing. Of course, there was little things in between. I built up my own website. I marketed myself. I started selling online. All those things were really important. But the truth is, all of it was because I was such a mad scientist. I wanted to figure out how to do everything. And it was like, my studio is my laboratory, and I'm like this crazy woman, trying to figure stuff out. I'm self-taught. I started in oils, and I would say about 18 years ago, I was talked into trying acrylics because I was a fast painter. So I really loved acrylics, and when I found glaze, it just opened up my life. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, amazing.
Enjoying the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when new Mastrius videos are added.
But I'm curious. So you said did you just set up on the streets in Calgary or Banff?
Literally shut up on street corners, went into parking lots, just set up against my car, sold painting to feed the kids. And you know what? I guess everybody has to pay their dues, and I paid my dues. I had painting blowing in the wind. I did little festivals. I did everything I could to survive off of painting, and it worked. It all worked, and it came together. But the biggest accomplishment is the fact that I have the joy of painting every day. And that's really what I love to do. So, if you can not have to work for the man and do what you love to do, you will be such a happier person. That's why I look so young. I look young because I'm happy. happy because I'm not doing what the world's telling me to do. I'm doing what I want to do. So
I agree. So
yeah.
when you say you were self-taught,
Yeah.
you know, how did that process look to you? You started
Oh,
out
well,
with, well,
I could
you just
start
started.
way back. I could start way back when I was a kid. I remember standing with my mother. I was adopted, and my birth mother, not my birth mother, my adopted mother, she wanted to find out what kind of skills I had because she didn't know. She didn't know my background. And so she, every time I would say, oh, I want to try this, she would be happy to get it for me to see if that's what I'm good at. You know, I took sewing, I took, you know, clay, I took karate, I took all these different things, but painting was the one thing that I really excelled at. So she bought me my first oil kit. I only liked it because it came in a wooden box and I liked the box. And I used to sit, and do you remember this guy? His last name was Alexander. He was before Bob Ross. There was
Okay.
it was this German guy, and he used to come on TV like once a week or something. And I would sit there with my easel and paint along with him. And I was like 10 or 11 years old. So that was kind of how I first started painting, and then just, you know, researching here and there what to mix with what, you know, but it was a pretty natural thing. But the weird thing, Grace, was that I looked for my birth mother when I was 31, and she was an artist living in New York, and I was an artist living in Chicago.
Oh, for goodness
Which
sake.
was just like, that just like sealed the envelope and said, yeah, Heather, you are an artist. You know, and it wasn't just me having the desire, it was the gifts that my mother gave me. I mean, it's like maybe I was learning when she was pregnant with me. I don't know. We both paint the same things. She's a land painter too. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
and she's in galleries too. So it's just like,
That's amazing.
it's like in the family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty incredible because so many artists, you know, would say, you know, being so you're just exploring all kinds of stuff and how
It all made so many messes you wouldn't even believe it, you know. But when I found glaze, that's when it really sealed the deal for me. Glaze was it, because it made sense. Because coming from a computer background and working in Photoshop, I learned about tinting, and I learned about laying filters over photos and things like that. And when I knew that in the back of my head, and when I started to play with glaze, I realized that I could do so many special effects with it. And that's when I was like, ooh, reflections, mountains, shadows, highlights, you know, it was like, ooh.
Oh, how interesting. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, if any of you want to pop in with questions, just, you know, signal your hand or something and pop in there. Judith.
Judith.
Yeah.
I've seen your work online, Judith.
Thanks. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
I'm curious. I just love your background and your story. It is so inspiring to this artist. It truly is.
Awesome.
And I know that, gosh, there's so much more to tell. But I have a question for you about today and what you
Yes.
do to fuel your artist journey. Do you attend other artist workshops and do any classes, or do you
Oh,
simply explore?
you know, it's so funny. I've never taken a workshop. I've never explored anything with any other artists. I'm really like that crazy lady in the cabin who's
Okay.
painting up a storm. I teach workshops now, and but no, I've never taken, I wish I did, because I really didn't know what I was doing when I first started teaching. But you know what? It came very natural to me. And I think you know what I think it is? It's because I have such a love for art, and I have such a love for people, that I really care about people's journeys. And I'm just going to tell you like it is. And I think that I bring a little different flavor just because I haven't been exposed to other artists and their techniques. So because I try not to be exposed too much, because the way our minds work, we just absorb everything, right? And so I actually tried a few different ways that I saw online that people were painting, and I was like, I just was making hot messes. It's like once you have your formula, you stick to it, you know, and that was the thing, finding your formula. That's pretty much when I found my formula, then I knew I was okay. And I could just paint anything now. I could paint a bird if I wanted to, or a fish, or you know, a beautiful mountain. As long as I use my formula, it'll always work.
And how long did it take you to figure out your formula?
Oh, my dear, it took me 30 years.
Oh.
That's all.
Dang, that's a long time. I don't have that long.
Honey, I have less time. Leanne.
No, but you know, I think, Heather, there, you know, there must be, you know, a kind of a gut feeling, because as I'm learning through these courses in Mastrius, and so I've got no background, not much of a background in art anyway, and you know, talking about the technical, compositional, all those aspects, does that just kind of flow through you then? It just works or it doesn't? You just have an innate ability?
You know what I think it is? I think it's because of my graphic background. I'm all about balance.
Right.
So balance is very, very important to me. And I think, you know, you pre-planning a bit before you hit your canvas, knowing exactly what you're going to do is a very, very important thing. Composition wise, it's usually, you know, I might fiddle with a photograph to give it the composition that I want it to be. I might stretch something or pull something out or change the perspective or something like that. But it's all about balance. I mean, I literally tell my students, if you make a mistake, put a tree in front of it. If you make another one, put a rock in front of it. I mean, that's really, you got to be your own landscaper. You know, you have to actually landscape the land as you're painting it, because nothing's going to be where you want it to be.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But I want to let you know, I've been teaching mentor classes now since the very beginning. I believe I was the second artist that Mastrius had contacted, and a lot of my artists from my emerging classes are becoming very successful. I've hooked up a few of them into galleries, and they're kicking it out there. They're really making a living and doing well. So, you know, I really do care about, you know, people's careers and journeys. So, but my aspiring class that's coming up, I prefer aspiring more than emerging. I prefer people who want to know how to find their style or want to see some demos. I like to demo. I'll demo every other class. So that's the difference between emerging and aspiring, I think. I think in aspiring, you want to really nail who you are, and emerging is you already know who you are and you're ready to show it to the world. So I told Mastrius I prefer aspiring, even beginners. They're super fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Did Mastrius, so do you do any teaching outside of Mastrius?
Yes, I do. I hold workshops about probably 8 a year in Calgary. I hold them now at Doug Swinton's art store and school, or whatever you want to call it, in Calgary. I do a lot of associations, like they'll, you know, like I got sent to where did I go? Somewhere in Toronto. Well, by Niagara Falls. And yeah, they flew me out there, and for 2 days I taught them my techniques, and it was a really cool experience. So I do art associations work as well.
Okay.
So I teach there. I mentor artists. I teach workshops and art associations.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you share a little bit about your process, like from a blank canvas to kind
Well,
of?
you're going to have to take my class, Grace.
I am so looking forward to it. I'm serious.
Well, I'll tell you, I can totally I could be the golden spokesgirl for gloss glaze. Okay, this is the magic in everything I do. But yeah, I'm a little different from the other artists as far as like supplies though, because of where I started. Um, I don't like to fix things that aren't broken, so I didn't change up a lot of my paint as I grew. I use a mixture of every kind of paint there is, from the cheapest, crappiest paint all the way to the most expensive paint. So,
Oh,
Heather, do you plan everything on Photoshop before you start painting?
no, no, I don't. Only if I need to change something up, then I'll go to Photoshop. A lot of times it's just photos that I take with my phone. I mean, you can go out, if you're from my area, you could go out to the mountains and every picture you take is a painting. Okay. But like I might up the saturation, you know, on your phone. You can change a little bit here and there on your photos. You can up saturation, you can lift the shadows of things so you can see what's underneath the rocks, you know, stuff like that. I do that. I'm a little different because I believe that I know the masters from, you know, long ago in the Renaissance. They used to do it their way, but we have technology. So I'm a true believer and use the technology to find the way you want to express yourself on canvas. Does that make sense? I mean, if you want to change a color of something, you go in your phone, you can change the color of something, you know, you can make it warmer or cooler, and that will help you to produce a better painting. I say go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm telling you the truth about the truth. I got nothing to hide here.
Well, that's good.
yeah. So when did you first start using glaze? Like all these products, that glaze product was just introduced to me in my course with David, and
I've been using glaze for about, I would say 12 years now.
Did you just stumble on it, or did?
Yeah, I wanted to see what it could do. I bought it. It was on sale from Michael's, so I thought, well, I'll see what this will do. And I realized what it did was it would turn my paint transparent. Right. And when you start using that transparent over other hues, it will change everything. So yeah, I really like to get into that. I'm very, very serious about glaze. Without it, I don't feel that I can pull off a painting without it. So yeah, glaze is number one. And you got to have a heavy hand when you're working in acrylics. You really need to lay the paint down thick. But you can also use glaze and make it watercolory. But yeah.
Yeah, you're really exploring all the time, kind of open to all those things. I love that about you.
My mom always said, if you're not learning, you're not living. So you got to keep going. You got to keep growing. Like me, I'm not where I want to be. I want to keep growing. I want to learn more and more and more, you know?
No, I know. For sure. I see this artistic journey as a journey. There isn't an end, is there?
There isn't an end unless you decide to paint anymore. But you know what? The more you paint, the more you're going to learn. You got to paint. You got to paint. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
So, and so you'll know when you get to a point where you can get it to a certain place. And then if you get stuck, you'll know what to do to change that, you know? Yeah. So in my class, I like to teach values, color, light, and yeah, values, color, and light. That's pretty much all I care about. And balance, of course. Yeah. Composition, the big words. I only know the word value because of other mentors talking about it. you know, gray scale, purple scale, pink scale.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So do you have any particular piece that you've been really attached to, or that you're a series or anything that's really close to your heart? Do you just, when you finish a piece, do you just love them all?
Well, in the beginning, it was very hard to let them go. It was like selling my child, right? You feel like you're selling a child because you put all this love and nurturing and you work so hard on it, and you look at it and you admire its qualities, and you know, and you see the things you need to change, and it's so hard to let it go. But
Oh,
when the price was right, I'd let it go.
yeah, exactly. I'm just really happy if someone wants wants a piece, for goodness sake.
Yeah, but for a while I was the artist. I was like the shoemaker whose kids have no shoes. It was like every time I would paint a painting, I would sell it. And my house had no paintings. All I had was, I just sell everything. I just kept selling. So now my house is decorated with all my pooper paintings, I call them. The ones that just didn't quite make it. That just something wasn't quite right. So that's what my house is decorated with, the just not so right ones.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So do you know that I have some questions written down here, but if you were starting your artistic journey now, is there something that you wish you had known back then and it would have changed your life, or do you just
I wish I would have known more of the business end of art, like the art gallery, like the galleries and stuff. I wish I understood more when I jumped in. I really, if a door would knock, I would go right through it. And I would always say yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I would have known more about that. Marketing wasn't a problem because I was already involved with marketing with my graphics. So that wasn't a big issue. I wish I would have known not to use a black marker on the back of a painting.
Have you had them bleed through?
I never have, but Doug Swinton got really mad at me once live because I did. I used a Sharpie. So now I use an acrylic pen to sign my work on the back to make Doug Swinton happy.
How do you sign your paintings, Leanne?
With an acrylic marker, because I was in Doug Swinton's mentorship group, and I didn't want him to get mad at me.
So you use an acrylic pen, right?
Yeah.
You mean one of those Posca pens?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got really crazy on me in public, so I decided to switch. And I let everyone know I switched. Okay, I won't use the Sharpie anymore.
I'd be interested to know if it has bled through on anybody, because I
haven't heard. And I sold lots of paintings. I mean, we're talking 10, 15 years ago. I still haven't heard. And I have some collectors that have been with me that long and they've never said anything ever bled. So I don't know. I just do what Doug says.
Yeah. Maybe everybody does. I was going to ask, like, you talked about your poo-poo paintings hanging up in your house, but do you ever get, you're working on a painting and you get sort of stuck?
Oh yeah. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 6 on the go right now.
Oh.
And what I do is when I get stuck or I get sick of a painting, like you get tired of painting it, like you start to lose the love. Once I start to feel like I'm getting frustrated, I put it down and I work on something else. But yeah.
Well, I do think that's
pretty much what I do. I have to rotate because I don't know, maybe I'm ADD or ADHD or something, but I can't stay too long on a painting, 2 or 3 days max, and then I'm just like sick of it. So,
Yeah.
so I switch
Yeah.
them out. I rotate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and are your paintings usually quite large? It's hard to gauge on
Well,
that.
I don't do anything less than a 12 by 12 because my
Oh,
eyesight is so bad, and I would have to use a magnifying glass, and then, well, how could I couldn't do that. So, and I don't like
okay.
to spend all that time figuring it all out and then putting it on a little tiny canvas. I want it to be, if I think it's going to be so cool, I always want to go big.
You start with a sketch?
No, well, yeah, sometimes I'll sketch, but a lot of times it's straight from a photo. Most of the time I paint straight from a photo or outside, straight from outside.
Right.
But yeah, from
Like
photo.
plein air, you mean?
Pardon?
Plein air, do you mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've done plein air. I even taught a plein air class. Wasn't my favorite class to teach, so yeah. It was too sunny.
There was some plein air events going on in Alberta this past weekend, but it's been cold. It was so cold this weekend. So
yeah, it's been weird.
Weird
Weather.
It's the weather. Yeah, yeah. Does anybody else have any questions for Heather?
Come on, I have so much info.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Come on, Judith, give it to me.
Sure. Heather, have you ever thought about or been inspired to change your style? Has that?
My style is actually evolving.
Mhm.
Somebody told me, and I'm not sure who it was. They said the first half of your artistic journey, you're trying to make everything look real, and the second half, you're trying to make everything not look so real. Well, I'm in the second half now. I was in the first half. I did the realistic painting. I did portraits. I did all that kind of stuff. But now I'm starting to get looser. Like I started off loose, but now I'm getting to the point where I'm so loose that it's starting to evolve into abstract a little bit. I still have my same style, but every once in a while you'll see something that just is a little bit different than normal. And I think that's just from growth, from seeing color and seeing shapes. And as you age, things become clearer and fuzzier at the same time.
No, it's as we become less young, not as we become older.
I celebrate age at any time. I'm just happy to be here. But you know what? I take my glasses off. When I paint, I don't paint with my glasses on, which is very interesting. So my style has evolved that way as well.
Right.
I had to start wearing glasses, and I've got 3 levels, and it's really hard for me to see perspective properly with all these levels going on in my glasses. So then I just finally said, you know what? I take them off and I paint the picture. I put my glasses back on, and then if I see anything that doesn't look, rough or something, then I'll fix it with my glasses on. But most of the time, I just paint blind.
Oh my gosh, I am so going to do that.
Try it. It'll loosen you up. It'll loosen you up. I know these are weird things, but it's because I'm self-taught, so I have little weird tricks that no one else thought of. It's like, you want to paint looser? Take your glasses off, because then you'll be able to see the shapes and the values much easier if you're blind like me.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on your vision. Oh my word.
It depends on your, but I think it'll work. It'll work for most people.
So are you your favorite days probably are days that you can just spend in your studio? Do you have a routine or a schedule that works for you? Do you do it every day?
You know what? I do it. I'm pretty stubborn, so I just do it when I'm ready to do it. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. But yeah, I mean, I try to put in at least 4 hours a day painting.
Right.
I know that I would produce a lot more if I did more, but I like I said, I kind of lose. I lose the feeling after a while. Sometimes it doesn't go away. Sometimes I can paint for 2 days straight, but sometimes
Right.
I do. I get tired, and my arms get tired, and then my mind gets tired, and then I start making yucky mistakes. So
Yeah, yeah. It looks like you've got a great studio space to work in there behind you, Heather.
yeah, I used to have a huge one. We actually moved into this house during the beginning of COVID, and I purposely picked this house because it has this gigantic high ceiling with all windows all the way to the roof. And it was one big open room with a fireplace. It was like the artist studio of your dreams. And I painted there for 1 year. And after a year, I said, I got to move into a small, dark room because the sun, I would move no matter what angle, I would move my easel. And my easel is huge. The sun would hit it in the wrong spot. I just had the worst time in that room. It looked like something from a magazine. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
The worst place in the entire world to paint, unless I went out and bought like $10,000 worth of blinds,
Right.
or had someone go up. I mean, the ladder would have had to be so huge to put anything up. I thought about putting sheets over the windows, but then again, then it's not the beautiful room anymore either. So
right.
So now I'm in this little small space, my little happy place.
Cozy.
So cozy spot where I can shut the door, shut the dogs out, shut the husband out.
What kind of lighting do you need to light up that space with it?
Well, actually I have a light. Well, I can't grab it right now. It's pretty far away, but I bought this really awesome natural light bar from, it was this really cool art supply store on, I think it's called Granville Island.
Oh,
Granville
yeah.
Island in Vancouver, right by the Amelie Carr College.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I need the best lighting because my work hangs in galleries. I want to make sure that everything looks good before I bring it to a gallery. And they suggested this light. It's just a long stick, but it hooks on to my easel, and then I can pull it down and I can really see everything.
Okay.
It's just it's a painter's light, a natural light.
Nice.
And I can control it, which is nice. Not like the sun, I couldn't control it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, don't they say that if you're looking for perfect lighting in your studio, that a northern exposure works the best? Have you guys ever heard that?
I have heard that because it doesn't change, because the sun isn't shining through the north window.
Yeah, because the sun is
I
changing.
find it's such a cool light, and maybe lots of people like that, but I don't. I would like to get lighting that is in between warm and cool.
That's the one I have. It's like the most beautiful. I can't pull it over.
You don't have
if
to
I pull it, all these paintings are gonna fall down.
No, don't do it. We don't want a disaster on camera.
I've had many of those, so no worries. But yeah, the lighting is important. I also found this is gonna sound crazy too, but I prefer to paint in a darker area than a lighter area. And the reason for that is because even when you're painting outside, if you paint something, it looks so beautiful and bright, but you bring it in your house and it looks so dark and dull. But if you paint in the dark, when you bring it outside of your studio, you will see that it'll light up and be beautiful. Right. Colors will be vibrant because you weren't afraid to use those vibrant colors. So I prefer less light because that makes my stuff go bam. So try it and see.
Really? Yeah. Good.
Less light, not as good for your eyes, but it's probably better for your painting color to come out.
Yeah.
Less light.
Heather, how many classes are you teaching at Mastrius? I know that you're expecting to start one on June 18, but
I usually do three, but I cut it down to 2 now. My last class graduated. I wanted to start a new class, and that's yours. So
Right.
I'll have 2 going at the same time. I don't want any more than 2 because I need time to paint.
Yeah.
So I've cut it down to 2.
Oh, yeah.
And that way I can get to know people a little bit more too. It seems like there's just it's too many people and I can't keep up with everybody's work. So it's better for me to just do 1 or 2.
Oh, I really respect that, Heather. Good for you, and good for the people who are so fortunate to be in your mentorship groups. That's
Oh,
awesome.
thanks, Judith. I've seen your work online, by the way. You're amazing.
Well,
I know I've liked some of your stuff. It's such a funny thing, isn't it? Online, it's like it's a whole different world out there.
I gotta say, my art, like my early art, like my young children, you tried to sell yours. I couldn't give mine away either of them, art or young children. Couldn't give them away. You were talking. Never mind. I should have been next.
Well, you know what? It could be what you're painting too. It could be what.
Yeah, it was.
I was telling Grace earlier that I just stuck with. I paint 4 or 5 bears a year. I paint 2 horses a year. Those are things that I do in between landscapes. I'm mostly a landscape painter, but I like to throw in a different subject every once in a while, just because, you go crazy doing the same thing over and over, and everything will start to look the same. So, but with the formula that I use, I can paint anything. So, I can paint a vase of flowers, or you can paint a bear, or you can paint, a landscape, whatever you want to paint. But it's the formula. I know it's nutty, but if you've been in my class, you would understand.
I hear you.
You're not going to share your formula on YouTube. You have to take your class to share your formula.
Exactly.
Good marketing.
I will tell you, I'll give you one little gold nugget. If you do the same thing over and over again, if you do the same thing and it's a success, do it over and over again, and it will continue to be successful.
Yeah.
So
did you start out with
formula that works and keep doing it?
Part of your formula, Heather, is I have to say, you have this tremendous, to me anyway, when I look at your art, I see this tremendous, emotional energy and spirit captured in your pieces that keeps coming me back to your Instagram and looking at what you're up to. And,
Judith, are you spying on me?
I am. I'm a creeper. I'm your creeper, Heather.
I love it. I'm a creeper too.
And I need to get into one of your mentorship groups. There is no question. Yeah.
Well, the one that I'm going to try something a little bit different this time. We're going to paint together. In this. I've done it before once or twice, and I usually demo like, I'm going to show you how to do a tree, and then I'm going to give you a picture, and you guys paint it and come back, and then I'll critique it. But this class with Grace, I think what I'm going to do is a little bit different, where I want to demo more and paint with you more, because I really believe that as an artist, we can absorb all this information, but once you do it and you're actually doing the actual thing, it'll soak in easier. So yeah, that's what I'm like this Wednesday, my other group, we're going to paint a flower together. We're all going to do the same flower. I'm going to sit with them while they're painting, and we're going to paint this flower, and I'm going to do it in the way I would do it. So if, but everybody else can do it their way if they want, but they can incorporate little things into what they're doing.
Kind of like a workshop format, or
yeah. I think it's best for aspiring. I mean, I can answer any questions about the art world and about marketing and about bios and everything you need to know, but I think for aspiring, I believe, is people that have the desire to paint, but they don't necessarily want to, be a famous artist. They might just enjoy painting and they want to learn more. And that's what I think aspiring is. Someone who is aspiring to get better and have more out of their journey. So that's what I want to offer.
I like it.
And may we never lose that aspiring spirit as artists.
Exactly. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep learning. Keep experimenting. I can never get enough. I can never get enough. I tried water soluble acrylics, which weren't bad, by the way, if you've ever tried them. The water soluble oils, the oil paint. I mean, you can do that even. I mean, it's like.
So you're starting an aspiring group up with Grace, but you're already have an emerging one going?
I have an aspiring one going. I'm done with emerging. I've done all the emerging.
Okay.
I've emerged so many artists. Now I want to just paint with them. I want to paint with them. I want to tell jokes. I think it'd be more fun just to like chit chat, get to know each other.
Maybe it's less serious feeling.
See how I painted, kind of Bob Rossi, maybe. I don't know. That's mostly who I am, though. Even in my workshops, I stand there and I paint along with everybody. We all do it together. You get to see how I did it. So I think that's the best. And I think that's a way to find who you really are as an artist, your style. And the way I paint, it's so freeform that you really learn what your style is. Are you a brush worker? Are you all about light? Are you all about, what are you about? So that's what I want to bring to the table. And,
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it, Heather.
I'm looking forward to it too. I told you I was a talker, Grace.
Yeah, that's awesome. This might be a good spot to kind of stop the. Do you have another question?
Wait, Judith.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I remember something that I heard from one of those great Mastrius events that I attended, and you were talking with someone. Do you only use angle brushes?
Yes. I use all angle brushes and one liner brush. One liner. So I use everything. Everything's an angle from big to little. And then, can you see one brush?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. And I use all the cheap brushes and I let them sit in water until they die. And then I throw them away and buy a whole new set. So I'm not like everybody who like, you gotta wash your brushes. You know what wrecks your brush the most is after you paint and then you wash it and you dry it off and then you paint again and then you wash it and you dry it off. You're like wearing that brush down. I leave my brush in the water. But I also paint almost every day. So
right. Yeah.
But my brushes, I get the cheap brushes. They last me for a good 3 months and then I toss them and I buy a whole nother pack.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love those angle brushes too. That's what
they're awesome. You could paint an entire painting with one brush.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because when I get excited and I'm into the painting, I don't want to be messing around with what brush to use. I just want to do it. Right when I think it, I want to do it. So angle has everything you need. Wow.
Okay.
Yes, you are a creeper. You've been finding a lot out.
That's great.
Well, that's wonderful.
So unless there's any more questions, I think we'll just probably close and say thank you for spending all this time with us. Yeah.
I just want to say hi, everybody out there in YouTube land, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be on YouTube. And I think Mastrius is a really awesome program. I think the minute I heard the idea of it, I thought it was genius. I'm so glad that I got involved in it. And I will continue to rock the art world with the truth. So if you want to know the truth, the dirty stuff, come to my mentor. class because you're going to know the truth.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much for your time, Grace and Heather and everyone. It was awesome to see you and come into a mentorship group near you soon. Yes.
Amen. I'll see you there.
Bye-bye.
Good.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.